What's going on, guys? In this video I'm going to talk about my deepest meditation experience. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, turn on your notifications. So, this happened last summer. I was actually at a field in my car and it was nighttime. I was just hanging out. It's quiet in my car and I was just sitting there. I locked the doors, no light, and I just started to breathe. I was barely even planning on meditating. And I started to focus on my breath. And after about 10 minutes, I started to just relax. I wasn't in a deep meditation yet, but I was relaxed. My body was relaxed, my mind was calm. And then after about 20 minutes, my mind stopped thinking. So I wasn't really having any thoughts. One thought would come in every once in a while, and I could just see the thoughts go and then, float across your mind. But they never stuck around. So I kept going deeper and deeper, and I was doing really deep breathing through my stomach and kind of expanding my stomach as much as I could. And I was breathing for pretty long periods of time, so I was doing like 7 to 10 seconds inhale and exhale, and sometimes I would hold. So basically what I was doing is getting lots of oxygen into my body and making my breathing really rhythmic. So 20 minutes went by, my mind was clear and sharp, and then about half an hour in, my body started to feel like really alive, like so much energy and vibration. And then at around 40 minutes, my mind was completely out of the equation. It's like I was my true being. My mind was not even, I couldn't see my mind. I wasn't even aware of it because it just wasn't there anymore. And I was my true being. I was just being present. I was pure presence. I was just energy. And when you go this deep, you start to feel your body energy. You start to vibrate. And so I just kept breathing. And at this point, at the 40-minute mark, I wasn't forcing myself to breathe deeply anymore. I just was breathing deeply, naturally. And one thing I noticed when I was not really forcing myself to breathe deeply anymore is that I started to become more aware of the breath, as if the breath wasn't actually me. So I was aware of the breath, and I was just the awareness being aware of the breath. So that was a really cool feeling, like when you truly know that you're not your body, like you're just observing what's happening in your body. That's what I felt. I was just observing my breath, and at that point my mind was not even thinking anymore. I was just pure consciousness. So 5 minutes later, so we're at the 45-minute mark, I started to just sink so deep. Like it's hard to, you're in this space where space and time don't even exist. It's like ever expanding space. It's so vast and it's hard to explain in words because you have to actually experience it to know exactly what I'm talking about. When you're this deep into a meditation, you're in another realm. You're not aware of your senses, your physical senses, because you're pure consciousness at this point. You're in a deep state of being. You're in the purest state of being. At this point, I still wasn't thinking, I was just being. At this point, I also felt every worry I ever had just disappear completely. I felt every stress just being demolished and absorbed into this void of like peace I was feeling. So around the 45 to 50 minute mark is when I ended the meditation. I kind of brought myself back to awareness, back to my senses, my vision. I slowly opened my eyes, started moving my body, and suddenly I was back in the real world. into our reality. So when I came back from the super deep meditation, I was still aware of this deep peace I had experienced. I was still feeling it, but now I was connected with both the external physical form world, but I was still internally aware of this deep consciousness that I'd experienced. And I was aware of this for the entire night afterwards. So I finished this meditation around 9 o'clock, maybe 10 o'clock, and it went till about 1 in the morning when I went to bed. I went to bed at 1 in the morning, and I was still feeling that. And during that time, I was doing things. I was driving. I went to the grocery store. I played video games, and these things felt so different. They felt so fresh and new, and they felt like it was the first time I'd ever experienced them. And the funny thing is that I was actually better at playing video games. I was so present. I don't play video games often, and the thing is, I did surprisingly well. Like, I'm not trying to relate anything, but I was like in first place for every single game that I played, and I never really played video games, so I thought that was kind of weird. And yeah, I felt like this deep sense of peace and happiness and joy, like every second. I was completely present. I was so aware of all my senses, and I still wasn't thinking. I was just perceiving through my consciousness. I was consciousness just perceiving the world. And this feeling lasted for that entire night. I'm not exactly sure what I felt like the next day, but I know I felt more at peace and more joyful and less stressed, completely aware of the deep sense of consciousness that I'd experienced. But the point is that you can change your state of being through the breath. And I know this because I experienced it. I experienced the huge transformation in consciousness just from breathing for 45 minutes. And 45 minutes is a pretty average meditation. It's long, but it's average. Some people meditate for an hour or sometimes even longer. But yeah, you can really transform your state of consciousness. And it was crazy. Like, it's something you can't put a label on. You can't put it in words. You can't buy it. You can't sell it. This is all something inside of all of us, and we can all experience it. And I'm telling you right now, this is a place, if you go to this place, you will understand the meaning of life. You will understand it, because you're going to understand when you go to this place that the meaning of life is whatever you make it. You make it whatever you want it to be, because that's why we're here, is to just play with forms and make meaning out of them. And once you experience this deep meditation state, you'll realize that every problem is pretty small compared to this vast sense of peace. It just gets absorbed into it, and it's almost irrelevant. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Let me know in the comments down below what you think and what your deepest meditation experience was. I will make a video on my other meditation experience. It's not really meditation experience, it's more of an astral projection, which I still kind of use meditation to get to. Make sure to stay tuned for that. See you guys soon. Peace.